Another Ants on a Rock video. Welcome to the Ant Corner.
Hey there ant fans, welcome back to another video. So this one's just a short one today about my Messor Barbarus colonies. I have two. One redhead, one normal blackhead, whatever you want to call them. So I think they're both doing really well. The redhead I had from a queen. She's done really well. It took me about 6 months or so to actually get her started. But when she did start, she's just taken off. The colony's doing really well. So I'll show you that footage now.
Now I'm just opening up the nest to have a quick peek in, and they're absolutely going nuts. They really don't like the light. I've slowed this footage down as well so we can actually see them because they're moving so fast. They're like flashes of lightning. Don't worry about the condensation. That's just because the room is slightly colder than the nest itself. But it shouldn't really cause issues as it clears up throughout the day as the room warms. As you can see from this footage here, I've been keeping them in a wakushi setup. The wakushi nest and outworld are really good and great setups for this Messor Barbarus colony. They love taking on their protein, and as soon as they saw this dubia roach was in there, as you can see, they sent out loads of workers and quite a few majors to start processing it, ready to be eaten. Messor Barbarus get most of their protein and carbohydrates from the seeds that they eat, but I do like to give them protein at least once a week, just to give them a bit of an enrichment in their lives. And they really do seem to appreciate it. I constantly feed them a mix of different seeds, and they need constant supplies of water, of course, same as any ant. I also like to give them sugar water or honey or some kind of carbohydrates on a bit of cotton wool at least once a week, but they only really go to it in much smaller numbers than they do the protein, which is fine.
So as you can see, they're doing quite well. They've got a nice pile of larvae and eggs and a huge pile of seeds in there. Running about like absolute nutters because Messor Barbarus do not like the light at all. They cannot use red filters because they can see through the red, which is unusual for ants and most insects actually. Most insects and invertebrates cannot see red, even fish can't see red. So it's actually quite rare that ants can, but Messor Barbarus can definitely see red. Red filters do not work, you must keep them in the dark. Saying that, let's look at the other colony. So this colony I got as a surprise. I bought the T-shaped nest that I used for my Lasius niger, the imposters. I bought that, and with it, to my surprise, came a colony of Messor Barbarus. They spent about a month in the post before arriving with me, at least a month, if not more, and I was completely shocked and surprised that they were so healthy. It was a nice big colony when it arrived, had majors and workers and a nice big queen already. So I set them up in a tubs and tubes setup. They've gone through a few different test tubes already. I've tried to put in an ant boy blackout nest and they're not really bothered about it. So their test tubes just dried out again, so I stuck in another new test tube. Whatever keeps them happy, they'll be happy. I'm sure eventually if they want to move into the nest, they will. And if they don't move into it, I'll take it out, I'll try something else. Because not all nests are suitable for all colonies. Sometimes it can be the perfectly designed nest for that colony and that species. But if the colony itself decides it doesn't like it out of their own personal preference, there's not a lot you can do. So not every time the nest is going to work for the right species, if that makes sense. So let's have a little look how they're getting on.
So this is their setup. It's a little bit of a mess, a little bit untidy. You can see the test tube with the red at the end is their test tube they have been living in, and it's completely dried out. I've had the blackout nest there, keeping it hydrated, with the entrance almost touching the entrance to their test tube. They've gone in, they've explored it several times, and they're not bothered. So I've got this other test tube ready. I've put some cotton wool out the front of it so that they can block it up a little bit if they like and make themselves more comfortable. Nice big pile of seeds. As you can see, they're not eating their protein, and there is just one ant about. Now this is actually a major, one of the larger workers, which is used for processing the seeds and things like that. Funny thing about this colony, you can pretty much guarantee that they've always got a major in this part of the outworld, in this bottom left hand section, and I couldn't tell you why. I honestly don't know what it does or why it sits there all day, but there's always one there and it very rarely goes back. When it does go back, they send out another one and they sit in roughly the same place. So I don't quite know what that's about or what they're doing, but they seem happy. When they do come out en masse, there is still quite a lot of them. Anyways.
Not really the best footage, is it? I could have shown you inside the test tubes. But again, I don't really want to disturb them if they're in a fragile state at the moment. I'm not sure if they're in a fragile state, but they're definitely not as active as my redheads, which are constantly out, constantly gathering seeds and constantly eating protein. I can put the protein in for the blackheads and they might show an interest, they might not. They do collect seeds, but it's mainly during the night when I'm not watching them. They're a little bit more subtle about their existence than my redheads. So let me know what you think in the comments, give me a little message, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. And as always from me, see you again, Ant fans.
And a massive thanks and shout out to my Patreon supporters, Jason Walker and Kevin Rogerson. You're absolute legends. You're helping me make this possible. Thank you very much. If you're interested in joining my Patreon, check the links below. And as always from me, see you again, Ant fans.